Hello and welcome to another episode of Arcane Precision. We're your hosts. I'm Kyle.
I'm John.
And today we are joined by a returning guest, a member of our local community.
Hi, I'm Eric.
So, how's everyone doing these days? It's been a bit.
I know,
Together at last, you two.
It's definitely been a while. We were talking, and it was, May?
Yeah, May when we
saying?
had Marc Andre on. That was the last time we did a podcast together. The summer's been busy, like much busier than normal, I feel. But having a toddler will do that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I mean, we've still been podcasting, just not together. Because my free time and your free time don't normally align. So, but we still managed.
Yeah, I mean, we actually got a game in too a couple weeks ago.
I know.
For the first time in a very long time, which was great.
Yes, and in all Kyle Stealth Shark fashion, you kicked my ass.
I wouldn't say that.
You did. You did.
So, John, what are you playing these days then?
I'm playing War Machine.
Just War? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right now, I'm still playing Winter Core for the moment. Well, actually, back it up. I am playing Winter Core competitively.
Okay.
But because we're sort of in lull before everything gets changed again, and there's really nothing big competitive wise that I'm going to till next year. I'm whatever I feel like playing. If someone at game night is playing Winter Core, I'll bring my legacy stuff like Trolls or Grimkin or even the Bright Bloods. I'll bring back and play. But competitively, Winter Core.
Okay. You think that's going to change come early next year when the Kith Guards start dropping?
I'm not that interested, honestly. It looked cool. The coolest one was the big heavy there. He looked like those are in Smig.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked very, very cool. And in the future, I might, just like Old Umbry. I think Old Umbry is very, very cool, and I would love to play it, but it's not like I'm not getting that normal itch, like drop what you got and go get that. It hasn't hit me yet.
It's okay, John.
Very different connotations to call them Old Dumbry.
That's what I was going to say, John. It's okay. You can call them that.
I just played against Aslanov, and yes, they're dumb.
I was going to say, didn't your shock troopers get mauled by bears?
This is the thing, is that nothing happened, and that's what frustrates me the most, is that I had plenty of models to do work and nothing happened. There were still models on his side when all was said and done, and that angered me, because then his idiot Primevals came around and just murdered the world.
Did they get all loaded up on corpses off your stuff?
Oh, for sure, yeah. And off his stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I look at the Primeval, and I do think it's like as in terms of like the like design and whatnot. It's seems very much like the whole package to me. It's just like it seems like a very solid war beast.
It is. It really is. And as a whole, I don't think I'll come out and say, even though I was frustrated and obviously I lost that game, I don't think that Old Umbry is busted or broken at all.
Well, a couple things with that. I mean, that caster, very, very strong.
Yes.
Like how he is right now, super, super strong. Going into January, I don't think we're going to see a lot of things touched with Old Umbry, so it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out. And with the Primeval and the Feral, actually, I think they're, you know how they used to have a light and a heavy with those battle boxes, or a light and a heavy and a couple lights,
right,
for the hordes. I think they realized that they need the lights, like every single Hordes faction, it's been 2 heavies so far, if I recall. Yeah,
Brine
because
Blends.
Brine Bloods are both heavies.
Mm-mm.
Brine Bloods have a light.
Heavy and a light.
Is it? It's on a 40?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Reef
Yep.
Troll's a light war beast.
Yep.
I guess I just don't see that many of them.
You don't.
Yeah, it is you're onto something though. I do think that competitively.
But that also the first one they saw that then. So then, Chimera, it's 2 heavies, both on 50s. They're both, I mean, I'm saying this in air quotes, heavies, but same thing. I think they have like a support one.
They've kind of been leaning into like the concept of like medium cohorts a little bit lately. Like I think you could describe the Spectre as being like a medium warjack as opposed to a light or a heavy, because like it hits like a light but it can tank.
Yeah. I
Then
think
like
they have to have the support models be able to stick around for longer and still be able to contribute a bit compared to the older lights, like from the legacy factions. A lot of them, they didn't do much other than their animus and contest unless you gave them things to make them better, typically.
lights tend to be at their best when they're given like a defined role to
Yeah.
play.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why, like from my own experience as a Dusk player, it's kind of like, well, the Ghast only really gets used as an arc node. It's like that's the role that it fulfills
Right.
for the
But
army, and it's like none of the other options really do it. Because it's kind of like, well, if you're going to build it for combat, spend a couple more points and get a heavy or cats.
yeah, well, I'm not really sure what the big difference is. Like, I'm not really sure why it feels that way, but a light warjack feels a lot better than a light war beast. 9 times out of 10. Point for point, rule for rule.
I think I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, well, what most light war beasts are what Fury 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, Fury 3.
Standard light war beast is Fury 3. Standard heavies Fury 4.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge difference when it comes to output for Fury-based factions.
Right.
Because we got to remember, it's all just War Machine.
Mm-hmm. It is. But anyway, what are you playing, Kyle?
Right now, I am playing Gravediggers. I'm planning on playing them for the foreseeable future. Might change depending on how I feel. I've only had like 4 or 5 games with them in person, but I have Old Umbre. I'm considering going over to them depending on how I'm feeling with Gravediggers here in a few months.
I still have your con exclusive Lesnoy
Yes.
from Gen Con that I picked up for you, which says a lot about when the last time I actually saw you was.
Yeah, it's been a minute. You've definitely been a little busy. So what are you playing these days, Eric? I know you're playing Dusk, but is anything fancying your palate?
Yep, I'm still using my Dusk, kind of mono-factioning it, but I do have some cricks. I've been painting that up as a bit of a side project, but not really like rushing it to get models on the table. It just kind of like I like these models and I'm gonna paint them, and we'll see when I end up getting any of those on the because painting them has been a lot of fun. They've got some great sculpts and a lot of places where you can kind of just like do some cool things with the color scheme.
Yeah, and Trey just got that resin printer, so I might be able to get you a Kythos and Criterions.
Oh, I actually already got those.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
Rick from Buffalo pointed me at a print shop out their way, so that they have gotten all of their stuff printed at. So I messaged the guy. He printed them out for me, and Rick brought me the printed stuff when they came to our tournament in July. I think it was July.
Or are they FA2 then? Or are they still character FA?
They had just made them FA2 when I when I ordered them, so I was like, okay, yes, I need 2 of these.
Yeah, I
Nice,
keep looking
nice.
at the exclusives over. I keep looking over at Panda Prints on Etsy because they have them up there for purchase as well. But I'll probably hit up Trey now, print him some terrain or whatever he needs off the FDM for some resin print.
I might get a resin printer soon.
Oh,
Maybe.
Starting our own print farm.
yeah, just between like 5 different people.
A really a really inefficient and widely spaced out printer farm.
Yes.
Eric, you got a second bedroom. Why don't you open up a print farm there?
That second bedroom is where I am right now talking to you guys, and also where I, paint my minis and play my guitar.
Well, I guess you don't
So,
need. I don't guess you don't need the first bedroom, right?
well, I mean, all I do in there is sleep. So,
Might as well put the bed in the
You could do
middle
that in your living room.
yeah, honestly, that's the bigger bedroom too. I could. Oh my god, I did all this wrong when I moved in here.
So we were talking earlier, and with your Dusk,
Yeah, so still playing Dusk. They're the only faction I've played competitively, and just this past weekend got my Phantasm painted up.
Your what?
My Phantasm.
Oh, I've never seen one of those.
Never did. But at game night tonight, I'm pretty sure David could see it. So
Oh.
I don't know what's wrong with your eyes.
Never gets old.
I don't know. I think it looked like you were playing like 30 points down.
I know.
I told you that you get 3 games against me where you get to make that joke.
We haven't had one yet.
We haven't had one yet, but I'm here to remind you that you get 3 games where you can make that joke, and then I'm gonna start getting upset.
Sounds like Eric needs to come out more.
I know it's gonna be 2027.
I don't disagree. Yeah, played against David tonight. Was very out of practice, and he was able to shut me out on scenario. Because the Phantasm can't bully a mammoth as well as I would like it to.
Is that mainly because of the caster he chose, or just base the mammoth?
What I was finding was so I was playing Helith with the Phantasm. David was playing Jalam with the mammoth, and we were actually kind of commenting on how we kind of picked like Jalam is Western Reach's version of Helith, essentially. So we kind of like picked a similar list archetype, and like with that sort of caster, and threw a colossal into it. And the thing that we ended up having happened was we had the same threat range on our big, scary, huge bases, and neither of us wanted to commit. So we danced around each other a lot and tried to, steadily offer bait to bring people in, and it was going to end up being the first person to overcommit loses, and that ended up being me. Jalam's feat is no joke, I think, especially when it feels a little weird saying that, like, given recent releases, that Dusk has hit fixing issues, because they have added, Aberrations, Shadowbind Spray, they've added the Phantasms, Radiant Blast, and in like a month or so, we'll have Lynessa's War Beasts with Chiller. Yeah, so it's like the answers are there now, but a lot of them still do rely on you hitting in the first place. So when Jalam is taking away one of your dice to hit, it's a bit rough.
That's part of his feat, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of like Fiona.
Yeah, so it's a lot like Fiona's, but Fiona's is like enemies in her control range lose a die on hit and damage.
Mm-hmm.
Jalam's is when one of the friendlies in his control area is targeted, the attacker loses a die on attack. So like very similar feats, but very different applications.
Oh, his you don't need to be in. His model needs to be in.
Right. So he can do that from relative safety, and
Okay, that's pretty good.
but we had a really good game. We both described it as informative, and I keep getting reminded that if you're going to beat David, there's like an exact amount of aggression that you need to apply. If you apply too much, he will jump on you and like punish you for it. If you apply too little, he will shut you out on scenario.
John, you had any recent games?
I played four table game last week. Yeah, last week, and then I played. Who did I play against? Oh, I played that game of against Old Dunbury.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I sort of described it a little bit. I think how do I put it? I think I let him come into me a little too much, and obviously he shoved this stuff forward and let me deal with it. And a unit of his single wound guys there just got in front of me and just I couldn't get rid of him. I did, but it took so much. And from there, I sort of lost momentum. And I did make a mistake where I didn't feat. I was playing Vilkel, and I didn't feat with the clouds defensively, and I should have because he doesn't have a way of seeing through clouds, or at least his list didn't have a way of seeing through clouds. And I had asked him with the thought of doing that, and then I sort of forgot to do it, and that sort of gave him multiple avenues to get to me, and then he just out attritioned me, and I ran out of time, and but it was just because everything was just so hard to remove. And the other game I had was against Gordon, I think it was, yeah, where I tried assassinating Gordon, and it almost worked, but it
Almost until it didn't.
yeah, a couple of my dice rolls went sideways, and it was down to the last roll, and I rolled pretty bad. And I think Gordon had only like four health left. And that was pretty much it. I mean, after that, Vilkel was flapping in the wind. But I guess I probably could have played the long game, just because I had a lot more threat. But the dwarves, they're pretty tough. Like, everything's pretty tough to remove. But yeah, those were my two recent games. How about you?
Let's see. We had our game. That's the last like in-person game I had. Where I think that was like my third. Yeah, I think that was my third game with Vargas. Just having to always be on the lookout for Vilcol just coming across the map is definitely something that I have to get used to, because there was the obstruction in the middle, and
Mm-hmm.
I was going to move Vargas up, and I was like, wait, he can just put down a cloud and just go there. So I had to stay.
Can't see through it.
Can't see through it. But, I mean, with Cyclone and your advance, you could, where I was going to be, you would have zero issues with, especially with your Hallowed Avenger move. Or
Oh yeah, Avenging Force.
Avenging Force. It's Avenger something. But before that, I went to a tournament down in Cortland. It was an 8-person event that David ran. It was a good time. We had Gator and Pete up from the Delaware area, I believe. Maybe, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah, he's from Delaware.
Then like just locals, and then one of the guys from Binghamton came up as well. I ended up taking third. I went 2-1. And they were literally my first games with Gravediggers. I played Jakes and Vargas. Looking back, I should have played Jake's into Harusk instead of Vargas. It was just more of a safety net for me because I knew Vargas is a little more tanky.
Yeah.
Vargas versus Horus sounds like a miserable game.
It's one of those you all deserve each other kind of game.
Yes.
Can't even play Watch Machine with that game.
But I definitely should have done Jake so I actually had the actual armor cracking with synergy.
Yeah, whereas he can't pivot into something to counter you, but you can.
Yeah.
Like you can dictate what he's gonna play more than he can dictate what you're gonna play.
Yeah. Yep. But just looking back, I was like, that was the one thing I should have played Jake's and Harusk, and I may have had a better game. I mean, it wasn't a bad game.
Right.
It went on scenario 8-5, and I think it was turn 4, turn 5.
What's that feel like?
I always, for some reason, end up playing long games, John.
The turn counter goes up that high.
I thought turn 3, that was it. You gotta do what you can. Game's over after that.
I think the only time I got up to like that level of that number of turns was when in last year's Boker Brawl when Rick was farming me for command points.
Nice. He does that.
Actually, kind of speaking about Rick and Buffalo, I believe most of them are already on their way and or maybe already in Europe for a little event.
What a great segue.
I was going to say, that was nice and smooth.
Probably a pretty obscure event.
Oh, yeah, I've never heard of it.
So I don't think anyone's talked about it before at all.
No. We probably should spend a couple hours talking about just going through the list and
imagine like having a podcast episode about this.
Anyways, there's been plenty of coverage on this. We're not going to go into a ton of detail on it. From at least me, I'm sure John feels the same way. I don't want to speak for him though. Good luck to everyone going. Have safe travels, have a good time, be safe, and be great opponents.
yeah, I already sent my my good lucks in the Delaware Discord in meme form. I made a meme of Travis Marg as Aberration and Nastilla is Italy because he's playing for them.
Just don't tell the Italians he breaks his spaghetti. I don't know. I honestly don't, but I hear that's something they don't like.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's definitely a sin in the kitchen world, not just Italian. Like chefs don't like you to do that.
How else is it supposed to fit in the pot?
It does.
In a bigger pot.
No, it like you can have it hang out and like a minute later it just kind of goes in there. It all melts into it.
What, does it bend or something?
Yeah, it does bend. It's not chewy after. You're not supposed to eat it that way.
Thought you were supposed to just eat it raw.
But that means only one part of my pasta is al dente and the other's overdone.
That's my sin. That's definitely my sin. I gotta have my pasta be like overdone. I don't want to bite into it.
Whoa. You have mushy pasta, John?
I love mushy pasta.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Not super mushy, but like not. I don't want any bite to it. And my kids agree, so that's all that matters, right?
Because you made them.
Yeah, like your tastes as a child are formed by like what you observe your parents doing.
Oh boy.
Y'all are making your kids into nerds.
Anyways, Eric, you're kind of a numbers guy. You got anything for us? I know it's kind of been gone over, but what's your 2 cents on this?
Well, I do find the faction breakdown to be pretty interesting, especially once you like run those numbers against like what the win rates over the course of the past year have been. Like the most played faction here is Shadowflame, and it's like they're in a good spot win percentage wise since the update. They're at 52%.
Do you
But
think that, well, do those wins come pre Trichimerics or post?
I can filter that actually. When did the trike come out? Do you remember?
Right
By any
around
chance?
Boker, a little before Boker Brawl. So I want to say, maybe, did it come out Adepticon?
It was
Well,
at Boker Brawl, yeah.
yeah, I played against it at Boker Brawl
Right.
like 3 or 4 times. So
I think when I was looking, there was one, maybe two Shadowflame players not taking a trike.
mid-April. Let's go with that. Shadowflame. Yeah, still 52%.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so their win rate hasn't changed. I think just the popularity of it because of the trike, maybe.
It could be, and like one thing that I think is worth considering with a lot of the like rate at which factions are being taken here and the number of times certain casters or certain like list archetypes are taken is that it's probably, well, I mean, it's going to be related to to relative power levels and stuff like that, but it's a big part of it in a teams format is that like when you have more control over your matchups,
Mm-hmm.
you can like you start like you're the factions that you pick on your team you are choosing for a reason, right? Like it's not just about getting strong players together. You also want to have 5 different armies that ask certain questions and things.
Which Shadowflame definitely does, especially when you have a trike in the mix, because I don't know about you guys, but I haven't been able to kill one yet.
Nope.
I have successfully killed the trike, but I am also playing a faction that has a lot of like easy access to anti-healing.
Yeah, what's that like?
It's pretty nice. And so like to sort of piggyback off of that point, it's like Dusk is the tied for second of most taken for armies, tied with Storm Legion and Gravediggers. Despite their win rates kind of suffering, but still healthy. Like they're sitting at 48% on the year, so like not in problematic territory or anything. But I think it's like they kind of have an answer for a big part of what makes Shadowflame so good. So if you're expecting to run into Shadowflame, you probably want Dusk on your team. So then since you have control over the matchups, you can make sure that you're getting your players where you want them. So it's not there's a bit more like meta strategy that goes into picking a faction and picking a pairing than you wouldn't see at like a steamroller or an Iron Gauntlet qualifier. And I think that's really cool. Because like within like House Callus, for example, it's like that like all of their casters are represented in the lists that are being taken and in a wide variety of pairings. So and it's like, and I think that's kind of a case of like certain casters like Hazaroth. He's got great matchups and he's got terrible matchups. So when you have a bit more control over which matchups you're giving him, he can ask important questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely one of the considerations most of these teams are taking with that is, I mean, we all know the trike is really hard to kill, and Dusk has those answers, and they also, I wouldn't say they threaten the same, but they do have a pretty high threat range for some of the things they need, though, don't they? Especially with Tyrus.
Yeah, so Tyrus can still threaten very far. Like he's with the correct setup and everything, he can still fling Dreadguard cavalry 16 inches across the battlefield. Like that's still a thing he can do.
I was going to ask, what was one of your most surprising stats that you saw?
Well, there is a Sea Raiders list that doesn't have Horisk.
Are they on the same team?
No, I don't think anyone's running double Sea Raiders, but there is a list a list pairing not running Horisk, and that is strange to me.
Yeah, I just went through. I don't see anyone running double. I see double Old Umbre. I see double Army of the Western Reaches.
That one's wild.
In terms of army selection, there is a Legions of Dawn player, which as a former rep player, I salute. Running Assyria and Viros 2. So, man after my own heart.
I remember when you picked up Assyria Captain Con all those years ago. How excited you were.
Oh my god.
Back when they did a panel at Captain Con.
Back when it was Temple Con.
Oh yeah, it was Temple Con. See, that's how old it is.
Yeah, no, I remember that day super well as well. And we ended up in an elevator with one of Privateer Press's staff members. One of
I
their
think it
game
was. I think it was Will Shook.
Oh, was it? Okay,
Yeah.
because and I had the blister with Assyria just on me, and he was just like, "Did you just get that today?" I was like, "Yeah."
I think that's the same year I got Butcher 3.
We were both eating pretty good that year, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. I'm surprised, but not surprised, mainly because it just came out and the model availability. I'm kind of genuinely surprised that there's 15 Old Umbre players, just because of model availability and everything, and it just coming out.
Are the Old Umbre lists running bears? Like the bear calf and stuff like that just came out a couple of weeks ago?
The rules were in the app, and I'm sure there are some teams that gambled on it.
Yeah, they
I think
gambled
that's the
on
last
being
thing
able
that
to...
was allowed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so they wouldn't get the old hunt model and stuff, like the stuff that came out after that, after the auxiliary box.
Right, like no one's running the Lord of the Hunt, but
Oh
or
yeah,
the
yeah.
or the new box set there, the missing Orgoth.
Right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
those aren't even out until November. I want to say November is when that
I think it was
stuff comes
November
out.
14th is the release date for that. But as far as I know, the only person I've seen who had got their hands on them was Erica from Tried and True, because she did the unboxing video on their YouTube channel.
Right.
Yep. I definitely want to pick up the Orgoth. I have a paint scheme that I want to do for them, just because. Don't know if I'll ever play them, but I just have it in my head what I want to do, and hopefully sometime I am able to get the Orgoth side.
I can't wait to run a list with 8 cats in it.
I just want to paint them like K-pop demon hunters. The Nis. Nice pretty pinks and purples.
I am interested to see what they're going to do for the 2 casters when they're in their cadre form, like their full caster form.
Yeah,
Mm.
agreed.
They are going to be full casters for their
So the box,
respective armies.
Yeah, so it's going to work like what Vilcol is. So
Right.
they're going to become, right now they're super juniors, but when they release, they're going to have, from what I understand, they're going to have full rules to be 30-point cadres. Or I don't know if they're going to be cadres, because they're kind of going away from those a bit. I think
Right.
I'm not 100% sure how that's working, but anyways, they're going to be full-fledged casters that are going to have their own feats and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I just don't know if the cats are going to be required to go with Linissa or there'll be another option for the army at that point. I don't know how that's going to work.
I believe if they go that route, they would just end up being, an option for any of your casters, kind of like how, Razor is for like any Winter Core caster can take Razor
Right.
or Deuce
Right.
for Storm Legion.
But the problem with Dusk is you don't have Fury, so I don't think Dusk. I'm not sure if Dusk is going to be able to take it, like as a full caster.
No.
The junior, yes.
What this means is that Fane of Nero, the next Dusk army, is very likely to be Fury based.
Which isn't even on the roadmap that we've seen so far. The updated one.
And the same with Orgoth's Reaper Covenant. It seems likely, given this release, that we're looking at 2 Fury armies for those.
I think this year it seems like it's going to be 3 Fury armies because we have the Krill Company coming out beginning of the year, and then I would assume those 2 they might try to squeeze in a 4th, but who knows? I mean, they pushed back the Krill Company just due to wanting to keep up with the production and everything. Because they have a lot of stuff coming out.
I
Right.
think their original plan for 4 army releases in the course of a year was definitely an ambitious one.
It is.
I think it was a needed one, honestly, because you started with not a lot of product out because of the whole transition from Mark III to Mark IV, and you needed to roll out some product, and that's why we saw things like Magnus and Invictus and the blimps and stuff like that. Is because they needed to roll out product, and I think now that they've got stuff to sell, then they can slow down a little bit on all that, and obviously because it gets to be a little much, I'm sure.
Well, it's like I know a thing that I preach a lot is like when you order something on like Amazon Prime and it doesn't get there in 2 days or whatever, it's like that's when you're upset, not because you like needed it in 2 days, but because you were promised it in 2 days, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we run into this like at work too. It's like we give timetables to customers of when they can expect their parts and stuff like that, and it's like you know it, when you overpromise or whatever, that's when you get in trouble.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of us in the community saw that they were like their Adepticon keynote where they're saying they were going to get 4 armies out, and we were kind of like, yeah, okay, I'll believe that when I see it. But so it doesn't feel like a broken promise or anything. But
They've been on pretty. I mean, they had to push some dates back. I mean, it's
yeah,
expected. It's the first full year having it. They're taking it in the direction they want.
it's not like we're not getting Kithgard.
Yeah, I mean, it's expected, and coming from me, like just me personally, it's 3 army releases is enough to like keep up on the new rules. 4, I don't. It would take me back to the CID days. I think with when there's new rules for models every month.
Well, yeah, and like I think there's like arguments to be made for like how often the balance passes. I could see an argument for like maybe not doing a big overhaul like you do in January, but like sort of a mid-year adjustment with some minor changes or something like that. But one thing, like I think a good argument against that would be like when a new army comes out, like the meta fundamentally changes.
Oh yeah,
It's like we're all now having to figure out like, okay, we've got old Umbry now, like that has changed the paradigm pretty drastically. And the same when Gravediggers came out. It's like now it's like, okay, we have to deal with Vargas and Jakes. How do we deal with that while also dealing with all the stuff we were previously dealing with?
Yeah, and I mean a lot of this is like one big cycle. Like, well, right now, X is going to be really strong, so we have to start building Y to beat X, and then Y becomes prevalent, and then we need to build Z to beat Y, and then we need to build X again to beat Z, and it just keeps going usually in a big cycle over the year, I think.
Yeah, I think like the old kind of cycle of the meta was something like it was like you would get like you like jack heavy lists being dominant, then you would get your infantry machine, then it would be control, then it would be jacks again. Like
Hmm. It continues to happen, which is expected. It's just some factions aren't able to participate in the cycle as much as others, I should say.
yeah, I think that's I would say that's accurate. It's like that weird case of like you don't want to be the boogeyman. You don't want to be like you don't want to be 2024 Cyrafel or 2025 Kythos or like you don't want to be the one in the crosshairs, but you do want to be able to like hang with them.
Yeah. So, kind of doubling back to WTC, Eric, top of your head, what's your prediction top team?
I'm
Not who you like, who do you think is going to, looking at the list? Because I mean, I think we all want a certain team to win.
and
certain
like
3 teams.
Yes.
um so like this is going to be a boring answer because I'm going to pick the the team with the three Buffalo guys on it, and this is mainly like I can't bring myself to bet against Cody.
Yeah. I mean, 4 of the
Uh,
players are all New York players. I'm not actually sure where Sean lives, but I mean, Riker. Actually, is Riker New York or is he Connecticut?
he's Connecticut,
Oh,
pizza capital of the world.
whoa, 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 whoa! What?
Don't tell RDC.
It's okay. He doesn't listen to this.
Does he listen to this podcast?
That was a big thing about that on what was it, the you call it the Last Supper
Oh yes,
podcast
yes.
at Boca Brawl. That's what Riker said, and Artie Art started yelling. It was pretty funny.
um, it's like I said something a little while ago to the effect of like, remember Cody cheats at the game by being really good at it. And like I just I don't feel comfortable betting against that man.
I mean, he has been on a streak for undefeated and everything. Let's see if that sticks in the team format.
And also Rick and Andy have kicked my ass personally, so like they have to win for my own ego. And I think they understand that.
Yeah. What about you, John? You sticking with Bison?
That would be my answer, but I don't want to just have the same answer. So
Are you the sort of person who, if someone else orders at a restaurant the same thing you're about to order, you change your mind at the last second?
No, I'm the opposite. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that sounds great. I'll have that. You copy me? Sure, yeah, yeah." Okay. No, I'm
I
gonna
kid.
go with um, hmm, I'm gonna go with Australia Numbats. They're the winners last year. I mean, I it's a good team. So
I am just going to point out that England King's Cross is running a Grimkin army.
I know. I am so happy about that. There's one Grimkin player. And apparently I'd never heard of him, but very good Grimkin player. Yeah, running Wanderer and Witch, which both casters I love. So maybe an honorable mention to King's Cross. Is it King's Cross?
Yes, King's Cross is the one with the Grimkin army.
But yeah, I'll be boring and say the winners from last year's. There, we'll take it again.
I will also just to go back to myself here for a second. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the name, but the first France team that has Legions of Dawn. I am certainly rooting for these guys too.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for the Buffalo guys, Bison. I mean, there's Jackrabbits. You got Andy and Erica on there, and Nate Akers, Chris Gunther, like all the
We
U.S.
do need to
guys.
nerf Akers. We do need to nerf Akers.
We were saying who we're rooting for. I thought who we are predicting that's
No,
going to
I'm
win.
saying I'm rooting for them.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm
I'm rooting for
think,
USA.
Yes, yes. I do think Sweden, hang on, Jormungandr. I probably butchered
with
that.
Olaf. Yeah, that team's
I think they
stacked.
have a really good
Olaf
chance this year as well.
For sure. Cool.
Yeah, don't ask me to pronounce Scandinavian stuff. I'll trip over it.
Too many consonants. We like our vowels in the Spanish world.
Not nearly as much as the French do. But yeah, I'm like 90% sure, Kyle, that Jormungandr is the correct pronunciation.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's just how I was pronounced. Just how I had to say it.
I tried so hard to say that with a straight face, and I could not.
Hooked on phonics worked for me.
Mm.
I mean, yeah. I don't know if that works for Scandinavian languages though. But anyways, good luck to everyone. I'm excited to see some of the streams. It looked like Peter is going to be streaming some of them. Is that right, John?
I don't know if it's Peter or if it's the crew that was streaming last year. I can't remember who's going to.
Okay, I know it's going to be streamed
Yeah.
for some of it, which is going to be great to see this. I know the setup last year was incredible. I don't know what the setup looks like this year, but I'm excited to see it.
Watch party?
Maybe. I mean, I got a lot of yard work to do this weekend, so I'm going to try to have it on my phone while I'm doing some of that.
Same. I'll be doing a lot of marching band related stuff this weekend. It's Dome weekend, so.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what instrument do you play?
I live vicariously through my kid as she plays the flute. I'm
You
merely
play
a
the car
spectator.
that gets them to practice.
Yeah,
playing at the Dome.
I do
was
clap
amazing.
a lot.
Like I loved playing at the Dome.
Yeah, we're excited, and they're doing really well. They've gotten first every competition they've gone to so far. So we're hoping to bring that first place.
Yeah, well, good luck to your daughter and her school.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, thank you. But anyway, I will be watching when I'm not doing that, because I'm excited to see good War Machine playing and follow the scores and all that. And yes, I wish the USA teams very good luck. I wish the Canadian teams good luck. They're our Canadian neighbors, and everybody. But those are the ones I root for the most.
We're a little biased, right?
A little bit, yeah. Don't at me. I'm not on social media.
Who amongst these players has beaten me just super hard into the ground? Surprising number of them, actually.
I say start traveling abroad, Eric. You'll get even more. It's sound logic.
I don't disagree.
Play more War Machines.
In other countries.
Yes.
Yeah. That'd be fine. Just have your company send you on a business trip.
Yeah, they'll go for that.
Yeah. What do you want to go there for? War machine?
It's a mental health retreat.
There you go. Networking. You're
where
networking.
I
Yes.
where a mental health retreat where I stress myself out.
Simulates work stress on your free time.
So with what you were saying, John, I actually posted some on Facebook and Reddit, like listener questions. We got a few of them, and when you were talking about doing the stuff with your daughter, kind of
Mhm.
reminded me of one of the questions Mario asked from Shop Talk.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I love that guy.
I'll read that. As two War Machine players, podcast hosts, balancing hobby time, playtime, and adult and family responsibility time. With particular reference to differences in our experiences with family responsibility, what advice or wisdom would you share with gamers who are entering that phase of life but want to maintain a vibrant hobby experience? You've gone through it a couple times, John. What would you say?
So as far as balancing your hobby and your life, I think a big part of that is sort of to have a good idea or notion of what your free time is and manage your expectations. I think talking to your partner about what you want out of doing something like War Machine and what is realistic. I have learned this the hard way because I mean I did marry pretty young, so I wasn't really fully mature till not that I'm mature now, but I have learned a
I
lot
was
of
going to
things
say, John, come on.
over the years, and
We were
I
just
think yeah,
talking about being realistic.
communication and being on the same page is I think it's important. And then just basically what you want to get out of it. If you want to play competitively, just know that you are not going to have as much time as that one person that can get, you know, 5 games a week or more. And then just really just go from there. Just enjoy it. When you're not playing, just thinking about the game is fun. Chatting with other people about the game. Just being on the War Machine app. Um, Painting when you get a chance. I'm lucky to be able to paint at work on my quote unquote break. So that to me it keeps me engaged. It keeps me thinking about the game even when I don't have time to play because that's a lot of times that's the reality is that you don't have all the time in the world.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I mean, I now have a 3-year-old, so it's getting easier for me to have some more of that time compared to when I first became a father. Because when she first came, I mean, I didn't have time to really even think about gaming, getting all that time in. So it's like you were saying, you have to sit down, talk with your partner. You have to, you know, figure out with yourself too, like what are the most important things to you. I mean, we all want to play the game. We all want to have fun. But at the end of the day, we all have to remember it is our family that is, I wouldn't say letting us, but um, we're taking time away from them to go do something we love, which is 100% fine. We just have to make sure that we're spending that time the most effectively we can so that we are there when we're with our family too.
Right. I also wanted to add that to sort of like advocate for yourself when it comes to the hobby time and free time because we can get caught up in life, and we do need for our mental health. We definitely need a little bit of an escape from the real world. Whatever choice that may be, it might be playing video games or it might be reading. Whatever it is, we need something to break up the daily life in order to be our best selves.
Yeah.
And because we can get pretty burnt out. We can get burnt out doing the hobby, but we can also
absolutely.
Yeah, but we can also get it's a weird feeling. Like the less I play War Machine, the worse I feel about the game, and the more I play, the more excited I am about the game. If that makes any sense.
100%.
It's easy to get into your head about like theory crafting or whatever, and like, or especially when you're sort of like, oh, this list I'm making is underpowered or something like that, but then it's like you play it and it's fine, and actually pretty fun.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I was actually telling him too that this could be a whole episode conversation we could, do with him, because I feel like
absolutely
we all have very different experiences with it.
Right.
Different points of view on it.
Right.
Well, like so me speaking as a childless unmarried man, like I think speaking as like what I would want out of that sort of arrangement, it's like I think one thing that would be important is kind of you don't want to be like keeping score or anything, but if your partner lets like quote unquote lets you like spend the weekend at Boker Brawl or whatever, it's like give them their thing as well, like
right.
like they've got their own hobbies and things that they're going to want to do separate from the family, and it's important that that they're able to get theirs as well. So if they do you a solid, return the favor.
Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, it's just you got to weigh what you want to get done, what you want to spend your time doing, be it painting, playing, in person, online, and what you want to get out of the hobby. You just got to pick the time, because unfortunately, there's only so many days, like waking hours in a day. You can stay up late and everything, but it's going to run you down, and then you're going to feel even worse. So it's really important that you're making effective use of the time that you have for the hobby and for your family.
That's not even to mention the doing this podcast, because it
Yeah.
seems like I have to pick, whether I'm playing games physically this week or doing a podcast, because I don't. For me, at least in my situation, I can't, get away from the family and doing family stuff for probably more than one night a week. And doing this podcast does take some time. So it's sort of balancing with that, and you have to balance with your co-host and their time and stuff like that. It can be challenging, but it's doable, and it's if you enjoy doing it, definitely make an effort to be able to do those things.
And like speaking for myself, it's like it's hard even without the family part of the equation sometimes.
Right. Yeah. No, I know you're probably one of the busier people out of our group.
I honestly think Eric's busier than me.
Well, because I mean, like for me, it's like I started up grad school in 2016. That took like I was working full time at the time as well, so that ended up taking me until 2021. It was a long period, and that was when I stopped playing War Machine for a spell, because like it was like towards the end of Arc 2, I think it was, but it was like, well, I'm doing this thing and something's got to give, and unfortunately it was had to stop doing some of my hobbies, and I like to do and maintain a lot of different hobbies, so something like War Machine is it's always still part of that equation too. because like I don't think any of us like just do War Machine. It's not like your lives are, work, family, War Machine. Like we've all got things going on.
John's like, speak for yourself.
My life is work, family, War Machine. That's all I got time for.
Well, no, I mean, like we had that like a chat, like granted this was a while back in our Discord about where people were just kind of like talking about like other things that they do that aren't War Machine, and like that I remember that being a very lively conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like traveling.
Yeah, so like I think the main thing with that is just like it's supposed to be fun, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
you can easily burn yourself out if you're like trying to force it,
Right. Yeah, and sometimes if you need to take a break, take a break. Don't keep pushing when everything's telling you to take a little breather. You'd be surprised how much refreshed you are after that. Like look at all the returning players that were gone for a couple of years or whatever, and they come back and they're so excited, and they weren't excited when they left the game.
Yeah, I mean, burnout is a whole other topic.
Yep.
So
Definitely gonna touch on it at some point, but we can dip our toes in it for a second.
yeah,
John, you mentioning like staying up till 2 a.m. was a personal targeted attack at me, even if it wasn't. So
I have to be up at 4:45, 5. So it's also a personal attack at myself.
it's like like I get that way when I'm painting stuff because it's like I will just get in a zone and then realize it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, my alarm's gonna go off in 4 hours. That's not great.
yeah, I definitely will wake up and I'll be like, why were people awake at 1:30 messaging on Discord? And why were people responding?
There was the one summer for me where that was Baldur's Gate, but
Nice.
We can go on to a couple of these other ones. On Reddit, we had
I like Peters.
Peters with the John painted up the terrain, not terrain. I mean, it is a terrain train.
Terrain train.
He painted that all up. Looks really great. And then Peter posted a picture of the train that he has. He actually has it split into two parts, and I believe it's going to be on one of the tables at WTC, which will be really cool to see. It looks great.
Yes, it does look great.
So I'm excited to see that and how they have that positioned on there. But over on Reddit, I had a good one. It's kind of, I'll go read it. Having played since the first battle boxes were previewed for Mark 1, I found the gulf between casual and competitive could be insurmountable at times. This person worked in LGS until 2010 trying to promote the game. They stopped playing in 2016. That's right around when you stopped, Eric. How do you feel Mark IV bridges that gulf, and what are red flags to look out for? They go on to say, I know the common explanation is, yeah, you'll lose your first X number of games, but it'll be okay. Just kind of off the bat, I don't think that's true anymore compared to what it used to be.
Not at all. Not when you have in your community somebody like me I'll lose to a newbie, no problem, and I'm trying. I really don't think that's the case anymore. It is difficult to beat a good player.
I think I've actually got a somewhat salient point to make about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
So when I stopped playing in Mark II, pre-measuring wasn't a thing, and it is now. And I don't think I can adequately express when I came back to Mark IV just how much of a game changer that was in terms of just like how I see it, right?
Mm.
Like, when when the only like means you have of quote unquote pre-measuring was the fact that you could measure your caster's control range at any time. Like the game really became like it is so much harder to get got now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
uh because like you used to run into situations where it's like, oh well, I didn't do trigonometry in my head as well as I thought I did, and now my squad is high and dry. And you don't run into that now. And in fact, like a lot of opponents, especially if you're new and it's not like a tournament setting and stuff like that, like people will help you measure things out. I remember one tournament game I played. This was a while ago, but it was like my opponent says like I'm gonna go for this assassination. Like it's a bit of a long shot, but I think I'm gonna go for it. And I was just like, okay, what do you need from me to make this happen? Because I want to see it too. Like
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a combination of things. Like what you're saying is the community itself is, I feel, completely different from Mark II and Mark III. Just the mentality of it, which compounds with the rules changes. I think the chain going from Mark II to Mark IV, would you say that the rules were simplified?
Definitely.
yeah, I would say the rules were simplified, and like especially like the initial crop of three casters for four factions. uh like they definitely had like a design of kind of having like their rules be simpler and having the skill expression come out through that. And then like as time went on with it, like with more recent casters and things like that, they've clearly come around to the idea that it's like, well, sometimes the weird stuff was a lot of fun. And so like that we have sort of drifted in that direction, I think, again, more towards complexity. But yeah, like I think the rules were simplified. I didn't know what to do with the unit movement rules until I actually used them. And
Yeah.
at that point I was like, oh wait, I get it. Okay, we're good. I
Right.
got this. Um
Yeah, I was gonna say that that was probably gonna be the only one that sort of became a little more complex, but it doesn't take that many games to get it. Whereas things like facing and backstrikes and trying to figure out half distance on over difficult terrain, all that kind of stuff, it didn't become became easier over time, but it took a long time to master.
yeah, and like like there's a part of me that really misses facing. But if you ask me to play a game with it now, I would be like, no, I will not do that.
Screw you. I'm going
Mhm.
home.
I think that's a more modern approach to it too. Like most games now, they don't have actual facing at all.
Yeah. Um,
Right.
but I think like that mindset where like where like you want the game to flow quickly, um, like the fact that you can measure any distance at any time, like that as a paradigm, I think fosters a community that's like a bit more chill and more likely to just like kind of help out your opponent, get them what they need to make their turn and stuff like that. So I think so yeah, I think right now the rule set has fostered a community that is more supportive and chill and cool, I think, than it might have used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned, Kyle, that the mindset has changed too on where we had a lot of cutthroat, which we spent a whole episode talking about this. But I want to add that we learned so much from previous years where it was like competitive or get the out, and now like because we lost so many people playing this game and the transition from Mark II to actually throughout Mark III and into Mark IV, that like we had someone come on. I think it was like when we played, Kyle. We had that person come on and play a game, and we were just excited. They're not competitive players at all, and we were just excited that he came over to play a game. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he came out from Utica area.
right. And just having the extra people, I don't care if they want to play non-competitive. That's fine with me. I'll put together a goofy list and we'll just roll dice and have fun with it. It's just having people playing is what's important, and I think a lot of I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think that's a lot of the mentality now. It's like the more the merrier. We don't care what you play.
Yep. Oh, I think that's true. Like anyone I've talked to, interacted with, has always been super friendly and willing to talk and everything like that. And I, again, like at the end of this, talking about you'll lose, they used to say you'd lose your first 50 games of War Machine. I, that may have been true in Mark II, and I think it was. But anyways, I don't think that's the case in Mark IV anymore at all. I have not been a new player for quite some time, so it's kind of difficult for me to, be like, yeah, this is true. Well, what would you say, Eric? I mean, you came into Mark IV, new army, everything. Did you feel like you lost your first, even 10 games, all of them?
No, I feel like I kind of like got my old powers back pretty quickly. And that's not to say I was doing anything particularly impressive when I stopped playing, but it's like there was like I don't know, like a couple of months where I was just like, oh yeah, I'm returning player, haven't really played in a long time, but it's like by the by the time I had gone to Boker the following year for the first time, this was like I don't know, probably like 6 months or something after the first like House Callus sets started coming out. It's like by that time, I already felt like okay, I'm not like not a brand new player anymore or whatever. In fact, I'm actually doing some pretty cool things at this large tournament.
Yeah.
So like I think the rule set being simplified, helps ease newer players in. The fact that like it's an open information game, so like the fact that it is you can still get got by something that you didn't see coming, but it's like you won't leave yourself high and dry by failing a charge. You won't. I thought I had a follow up to that. I don't.
And again, like I said, I think it's really a mentality of the group now too. Like they want to be able to nurture that person coming in, and you don't want to just crush someone because they'll, spend 50, 60 bucks on, say, one of the cadre boxes. And, they get that built up. They, say they start getting it primed and they just keep losing. Well, got to change something, I think, and figure out what they need to do and help them. Like, not just, I think that's also something that maybe it's just a local thing, but pretty much anytime I've played someone, we've always stopped and talked about the game afterwards. Things that were good, things that were bad. And I think, that kind of thing also helps with that.
Yeah, well, it's like like I said earlier in the episodes, like I played David tonight, and every time I play against him, it's like we'll end up like pausing the clock like between our turns just to like talk about how the game's going and stuff like that. And I for one always really enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, things like that, that's going to help everyone involved and even onlookers who are just watching the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Another question we have here is terrain based. How do you decide what terrain to put on a table and ensure balance and variety? We are rebuilding our meta, and terrain layouts seem to be a big questionable area.
I would also like to know the answer to this question. Although I did when we had our tournament, our big tournament this past summer, like I did lay out a whole bunch of tables and no one complained out loud to me about the layouts. So I guess I did an all right job.
Yeah, so you can take a couple approaches with it. You can have a balanced table where no side's really bad, but I don't think that's the right way to do it when there is the option at the beginning of, the game of a person taking first or going second. I think having a table with interesting terrain that makes you think about, do I really want to have this person pick the side? Say if they have a colossal and one side super congested, there's only a couple spots that can go through, or the other side where it's pretty open, like you don't have a lot of obstructions, you have like a forest or a cloud and stuff like that where it can just kind of go wherever it needs to. I think having tables kind of set up like that where you actually have to look and be like, do I actually want this person to go and pick side, or do I want to pick the side that I want that's going to make it worse for them?
The caveat with that, I think, is that you gotta know what you're doing when you are not creating equal sides for the terrain, because there are a couple of our scenarios currently that wrong move will skew that scenario hard one way, and it makes it so it's not fun for someone. So that's why I normally try to lean a little bit towards equal, but I do see the merit in having one be a little more advantageous. That way, the second player isn't like, well, it doesn't really matter which side I pick. Like, it should matter which side you pick. It just shouldn't matter too much, because of those scenarios.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the perfect world, I mean, obviously, but when you're just throwing terrain on, I think when you're rebuilding a meta, it's important to have it be more of the balanced type,
Right.
because that's going to get people in playing. And obviously, I think playing with 3D terrain or even 2.5
Yeah, you want to attract people
is important these days.
for sure.
But I usually go off. What do they say? I think it's between 10 and 14 pieces of terrain typically on a table.
Yeah.
I typically like to go heavier on the terrain.
Yeah, I would also advise erring on the side of too much terrain as opposed to too little. Like if you're going to err in one direction.
Yeah, but to get up to like that, every piece of terrain, like, have some scatter terrain and have like 3 pieces count as one because they're removable with 80s and 120s, stuff like that. You don't want to make them too big, but you want to.
I, for one, really like scatter terrain. I think it's great. I like the idea that, like, just like the fact that the battle is able to physically impact the table by, removing bits of terrain and stuff like that. Like, I love that. So I am a firm supporter of scatter terrain.
And I think it looks good on the table too. Like you have these pieces of terrain that aren't just like, hey, here's this big house, here's this trench. Like you have, hey, there's a pile of barrels right here, or a well, or something like, something smaller that would make sense that it would be destroyed if, this 80 millimeter, colossal, walked over it.
Was I was just reminded of a long time ago playing the IKRPG, and the party we entered this area with a bunch of chest high walls, and we turned around because we were clearly heading into a fight.
I think I was just thinking of a way of making terrain equal, but not, is the fact that not all pieces of terrain are made equally. You have some outliers like dust devils and hills and stuff like that. That if you have some on one side and not the other, it creates an advantage while having the same amount of terrain on both sides. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think throwing in hazards is a really good way to make it,
Yeah, that too. Yep.
like putting a burning forest on the table, or burning earth or hill or whatever it is. You can just throw that on there. You have storms and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
to keep it simple for rebuilding it, you want to kind of limit that. Like have an acid vat, or have a forest on fire. stuff that would be a little easier to kind of see and show on the table. But the way I like to build tables is usually have something in the middle that's line of sight blocking, be it a forest, an obstruction, something near the middle, so it's not just this one open field right there in the
Right.
middle for everyone.
Yeah, and actually, you'd be surprised at the mileage you can get in terms of like interest just by like taking like that piece in the middle and just moving it slightly to one side. Like you, like that is actually a pretty big bang for your buck type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I would say, like, I do think this is an area that I would like to see more like official advisement from Steamforged on, just because I feel like this is a question that comes up an awful lot. And by no means do I want it to be like the 40K scenario packets where, they have like set layouts of where you put your L-shaped ruins. And
Yeah.
so like that is the last
Yeah.
thing that I want for this game.
No,
But
thank you.
at the same time, I feel like having a bit more official documentation on like just what makes a good table and stuff like that would be good to have. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, with that 40K thing, like you were saying, uh, I saw them setting up the other day when I was playing with John, and they have this template, this 4x6 template that just goes on the board. You put the terrain down, you pick up the template because, everything's the same shape. And I'm just
yeah,
like, this, and I was talking to some of them and I'm like, what are your thoughts on how your terrain is? And they're like, it's easy to play on, but they miss the nicer terrain that they used to play with. But unfortunately, this is the terrain everyone wants to use because, at least in our area, they're playing on the more competitive side.
yeah, and I've gathered that that is just how the tournament scene works. It's like they've got their like set number of layouts. They place their ruins around, and like if you're a TO, that must be really nice.
Yeah.
But like I can I don't want War Machine to be League of Legends, you know.
I do love playing a good ARAM game every now and then still.
Nerd.
I have no clue what you guys are talking about.
It's just a fun, uh, well, I don't even know, just a game mode on League of Legends. It's a video game. But
Gotcha.
this person also asked, what factions are you most excited to see return? And how would you like to see them appear aesthetically? Of course, the joke people always say is Dino Riders from Zoo for Menoth. But on a more serious note, any thoughts on these?
So my personal dinosaur Menoth is I would love to see Viros 3 driving a trident with a super heavy Imperatus.
Okay.
But uh but the real answer to that is we kind of sort of got like a bit of like the circle fix with old Umbry, but I would love to see like Wold circle come back. Like
Okay.
the
Yeah.
construct
Like
war beasts, animated statues, that sort of thing.
more with Bradigus.
Yeah. Because I love the aesthetic of like the wold side of circle. Like the werewolves were cool too, but that is something I would like to see return.
What about you, John?
So many things, so little time. Um, the short answer would probably be more Grimkin. I really love the aesthetic and the sort of like the silly but like sinister look of them. Um, but I would also like to see like dwarves come back. I think that we're missing that aesthetic. Um, and I think that'd be cool to see like what they're up to. Maybe include, because I know the lore, they've taken in a lot of refugees. I think them coming back would be pretty cool. What are you looking forward to, Kyle?
I would love to see the more shamanistic trolls come back.
Yeah.
Like the Northkin and stuff like that, or
Not Northkin, more of
okay,
like Doomshaper with Mulg and
okay.
like them and the Rune Shapers.
Oh,
I
you just want
I loved playing Runes of War. I
Runes of
absolutely
War.
loved it. I loved the aesthetic of it.
Hmm.
If they bring that back, I will go back to Trolls.
Yeah, I do
Interesting.
remember those days where I was just like, this is Kyle being his truest self.
I will 100% go back to Trolls.
Nice.
And kind of my disqualified answer, because they are actually coming back, is Crucible Guard. I missed them because I missed Mark III, but I just thought like it's like that they are like the steampunkest steampunk faction, and I just think that's rad.
100%. Yeah.
I am interested to see what the prices are going to be, because from what I understand, you have McKay and the Ralis in this, but a lot of the other stuff isn't going to be included in the 3D War Machine 3D subscription. They'll be available for purchase, and I think if you're a subscriber, you get like 50% off or something.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's going to be that much money, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
there is a very likely future where I do throw money at someone with a 3D printer to get me Crucible Guard. Because it's like if you got into War Machine because you think steampunk is cool, it's like, well, here's Crucible Guard.
Yeah, that's the reason why I play Crucible Guard, is like I love the aesthetic, and they actually played pretty. They had a pretty unique way of playing while being a. Usually, it's not a normal thing for a focus faction. They were unique in the fact that they were like shooty ish, like Signar, but um it, they were a debuff faction in the way of Crix. So it was neat to see. But
Yeah, it's funny when I gravitated towards Rhett in Mark II, and then when and then also realizing, after getting back into it, like what Crucible Guard was and how like that is something I would have picked up if I had stuck around for Mark III. It's like, apparently my favorite factions are Signar, but with blank.
with some extra steps.
Well, yeah, because that was kind of the thing. It was like there was a lot of overlap, I remember, between Mark II Rhett and Mark II Signar. In that, but just like kind of done in a different way and
Right.
with elves.
with another question we have, what's the best casual format? I would say, if you're able to, a narrative. I haven't really played any of the ones that they put out in the app, but if you can go to a convention or an event that has a narrative event, I think that's probably going to be the most fun you're ever going to have playing War Machine, is one of those kinds of events.
They seem to be having fun. It looks like a blast. I've never actually done one. I would say of one that I have experienced is a 2-person team tournament where
Yeah.
you have like the one we ran here in Syracuse. I thought that was so much fun to do, and I would definitely would do that again.
With the like the two players playing simultaneously, right? Not the
Yes, a 2v 2v2.
not
That's what
the
it's called.
not like the how the WTC does its 5-man teams.
No, no, that
Yeah,
is
and
the
it's
most fun competitive play, but the two v two is
agreed,
definitely
100%. But I think when we did that uh, tournament, the two the doubles tournament, I guess would be how you call it.
Mhm.
And like I think it was a great decision. I think to it's like a bunch of the Buffalo guys came in and we paired a Syracuse guy with a Buffalo guy, and
Right.
so
Everybody
we
had
we all got to get carried.
we each got our own pet shark. I actually did get a pet shark. I played in it and I got I didn't know who he was, but they call him Dr. Spider. Michael. He was in my team. We didn't do so well because I'm not very good, but but he was good.
Me and Chris Kulawaki won that tournament.
Yeah.
I took 2 Orgoth feats to the face back to back.
Oof. So you were the
Sounds
shield.
terrible.
Oh, I so legitimately, you know how in the Discord I have nothing good to say about Orgoth. It comes back to that to that game where played against 2 Orgoth opponents, and I was the one who ate both of their feats. I was gone by turn 2. Like it was real bad. It was like Kishtar moved up, and this was like old Kishtar, so her feat was like the 2 extra dice to everything. Drop whichever 2 you want. And Kishtar moves up, obliterates my army except for Helith, and I was like, well, I guess I can kill Kishtar. And then I killed Kishtar, and then got assassinated by Sabrith.
Nice.
I just turned to Chris. I was like, "You got this," and he was like, "Yeah, yeah, I got this."
That was he was playing Exelon, I believe. Exelon, Texas.
Yep.
I think another good format. It's more on the casual side, just because there's not as many people playing it. I would say Brawl Machine.
I haven't played Brawl Machine, but I do quite like the rules for it.
I think that's a good intro until, especially since SFG hasn't put out any scenario for the lower points, the 75, the 50, the 30 even, which I think is something that they definitely need to do for newer players, because you're going out on the shelf, you can get a command box, and yeah, you can play a game with that. Because that's typically 30 points, right?
Yeah, but they've actually locked themselves into those being 30 points.
Yeah. You also have the hips single side boxes, which are 30 points typically. So I think they really need to have something out for that, so people can literally build their stuff and play a game that doesn't feel super unbalanced because the scenarios are so spread out.
Well, and part of the problem too is that those different starter boxes are super unbalanced against each other.
Yes.
And like I know like that this might like for me, uh if I'm like trying to ease a new player into the game, the last thing I want them to see is Black 13th's card.
Oh, absolutely. I think the command boxes now are what you need to see. I think after Gravediggers, they're what they need to be. So you have Old Ombre, where the rules are pretty much the same on every single model. Same thing with the Frozen and Forgotten box. Those models, they all have basically the same rules. They simplified them. That way, you don't have 3 individual characters. Because in Gravediggers, you have the 3 different guns. You have 3 different melee weapons, different rules on them. Same thing with the Hounds and the Black 13th. So I think the direction they're going is what they need to do to get people to start the army.
Yeah, because like with things like the Hounds and with things like the Black 13th, it's like yeah, like there's a part of me that's just like I see the appeal like of all like each one granting a different ability to the whole thing, but it's like regardless of what side I'm on, like if I'm against this unit or if I'm playing this unit, I don't want to remember all that. Like
Yeah, I
do
mean,
you have any idea how easy it is to send me into the tank?
yeah, I mean, look at the Furies for Crix, what they ended up doing, just because it was so hard to tell them apart too.
Well, yeah, that was another problem that they had, was that the models were virtually identical.
I still can't tell you which is which, and so it's just they all do the same thing. But yeah, casual format. Look at Brawl Machine. Look at narratives.
And I would also say, like, kind of the way most of the most casual games that I've played have been, like, just saying to someone at game night, it's like, I want to do something silly. And, you both agree to just kind of play something jank, just and keep it casual and just kind of have fun with it.
Yeah.
Are you saying that best casual format is the friends we made along the way?
I wasn't gonna say that out loud, but I feel like I make that joke way too often, so I wasn't gonna say it.
And I love it every time. Makes me giggle.
Well, it's like I remember when we were waiting on Phantasm rules, like I would just post every time. It's like maybe the real Phantasm was the friends we made along the way.
Hey, what else we got?
I never got sick of it.
Yeah.
With this next question, we actually kind of did touch on it a bit. It's talking about the slowdown of army releases and,
Oh,
Kithgard getting pushed back. Do you see this as a hiccup, or do you feel that we'll see a slowdown to 2 to 3 armies per year?
yeah. I already gave my
Um,
thoughts on it. Well,
I think yes, it is
feature.
a hiccup, but it's not one I'm upset about. Like when they announced that it was going to be 4 armies in a year, like not only was I like, okay, that's a bit optimistic, but I was also kind of like, that's a lot of models. And like a big part of what made Mark IV happen in the first place was bloat. Yeah, so like I think it's like there is a balance between n- enough new releases to keep things interesting and shake up the meta when it needs it, and having just way too much stuff in it.
Yeah, I think having 3 a year is a good number, because that's you spread it out. I mean, you can have a release, one release an army per month. And that's going to take most of the year. You throw in another rule book, maybe. I don't know if I'd do another rule book, but maybe like a lore compendium or art compendium next year. Um, Depending on what they do with the rules. And there's plenty of opportunity to fill those. I mean, there's still Merc models that haven't come out that they previewed at Adepticon. I mean, there's still the balloons. They need to come. They haven't come back on sale yet, have they?
Nope.
Yeah, so they still have to have those come back on sale, so that they have opportunities for things to come for sale. So I think the slowdown to 3 is a good number. 2, I feel like might be a little too slow. What I don't want to see is a guild ball situation where they're just kind of throwing things out.
Yeah. And I would also say that, like, part of the like cutting down on the release schedule like that is like what we discussed earlier with, like, over promising. Like it's one thing for them to, you know, release the rules and have, like the models on the website for you to order them and stuff like that, and then it takes 2 months to get to you because of production issues.
Yeah, and I think that'll also help with their print on demand stuff, because a 6 week lead time on print on demand um, can be discouraging, because you pay for it and then you're just sitting there waiting, and
Yeah, like I would much rather, the realistic timetable for when I have models in my hands, then
Yeah, absolutely.
so like I think a slower schedule is prudent, and also like I said before, to avoid bloating the roster too much. Because like I was actually thinking about that when we still thought Kithgard was coming this year, and it was just like, man, we're gonna. It's like we just got this new army in Old Umbria, and we're not even gonna have time to adjust to that before Kithgard starts coming out.
It almost felt like Magic the Gathering sets, whereas like Spider-Man just came out, but Avatar: The Last Airbender now is like right around the corner. Like I think that comes out next month.
Is Magic the Gathering literally just Fortnite now?
They do have a lot of universes beyond. Final Fantasy sold like hotcakes, so I think they're really doubling down on it now.
So like because like I don't play Magic, and when I tried to get into it like a couple of years ago, but I was like I can't keep up with like the pace at which things are cycled out of the game. It would be like, oh, I just got this deck together, and half of it is illegal now.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but I want to say this next year there's like 11 releases.
Yeah, so I wasn't keeping track of like anything. Like I bought a bunch of the Lord of the Rings stuff because I just love Lord of the Rings, and the art is
Oh,
really cool.
absolutely. That was the other one that started this, because that sold very, very well for obvious reasons. Because some of the other IPs, they were okay. They didn't sell that well. They sold fine, but Lord of the Rings is like really where it started, and then Final Fantasy was like really big. I
Okay.
mean, they just announced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at New York Comic Con for Universes Beyond Magic set.
Huh. So they really are leaning into the like Super Smash Brothers
Oh
approach
yeah,
of just like
I mean,
crossover everything, throw it all
yeah, I
together in
mean,
a blender.
they did 40K Commander decks.
That's true. I did see that.
They did Doctor Who Commander decks. I think they did. I think that was a whole Universes Beyond one too. Like
Okay,
I
so
know them.
you know what that whole thing is reminding me of, to circle it back to War Machine? Riot Quest.
I do like I. It's been a long time since I played Riot Quest, but did you ever get to play it?
I didn't, but like I remember seeing like the models and being like, I wonder what that's all about. And then it's like it turns out they were legal in War Machine. And I was just like, these models have a very different vibe than the rest of it.
Yes, yes. But the Riot Quest game itself, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I still have the maps. I still have all my models.
Yeah, it's a lot of
So
fun.
we maybe we bring it to Boker Brawl.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't have to bring anything, so
That's
Yeah,
true.
I'm all for it. I still have stuff too. So
And we'll just kind of finish this off. What are our personal thoughts on the spell rack, and should we keep them or have the spells split up against the casters? I
I've got
think
opinions on this.
I do as well.
me too.
In the latest AMA on Reddit, one of the uh, SFG staff was kind of asked what was something that they wish they could change, and they answered the spell rack. So if that kind of tells you anything about this, first and foremost, I think Carnage needs to be taken off the spell rack. It needs to be on specific casters for that faction.
I think, yeah, like I think Carnage, Battle Lust, Windstorm, those are like caster defining spells.
Yeah.
And uh,
Avenging Force.
Avenging Force.
Yeah, I'm gonna admit it shouldn't be on a rack.
Superiority.
Yeah.
These
I
are,
honestly, I think the spell rack can still exist, but each caster can maybe get like one, maybe two from a very narrow list of like 4
yeah,
or
like
5 spells instead
I
of
think
10.
essentially like give each caster like one less rack slot and one uh like, hard locked spell. to replace it. But then but then it's like I think the issue with the spell rack is that it's like you got these really powerful caster defining spells on it. When it's the perfect place to put your situational spells that like you might not want in every matchup, and it's like no one's gonna be upset about a Signar caster racking chain lightning or something like that.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean, like for just Signar, I think Arcane Shield. That's like if you're kind of thinking lore wise, a person, a warcaster's in training, they're going to be teaching them, these certain spells. Like Arcane Shield is like the faction defining, like probably every single caster knows how to cast that because that's probably one of the first things. Just thinking lore wise, they probably get taught.
mhm.
So like that's something all the casters do because I mean you look at casters that go from one iteration to another and they have different spells. So it's not that they've forgotten those spells, it's that they have taken different spells. So I think that was, kind of how you could do it is like have like Signar, you have Arcane Shield on the rack and maybe Snipe on the rack for, just Storm Legion, not Engrave Diggers for obvious reasons.
Gravediggers don't get snipe.
They don't teach that at the Trencher Academy.
Yeah, I don't think spells that are really strong need a place in the rack. It I think the original intent was the rack was giving whatever army tools to deal with opponents. So basically, gives it tactical flexibility to deal with other opponents. So if you're reaching for magical weapons or something like that, I'm just throwing off at the top of my head.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
reach for that spell that gives you that, or if not something that every caster is going to take. Like I can
Yeah,
give it
and
examples for what I have, which is Avenging Force, like superiority, spells like that. I'm taking them. I think the only one I don't take Avenging Force is with Valeri because he already has Escort, and they don't work together very well because they're both self upkeeps. But other than that, I'm taking Avenging Force. I'm taking Superiority, and then sometimes I don't have another choice. So all those other spells that are there, which are not all of them are bad spells. Sometimes I don't get to choose.
well, yeah, and like I know, like I've got a similar experience where it's like the Dusk spell rack is rightfully pointed at as kind of bonkers, but every time it's always just like okay, like this other spell that I'm looking at here. Why am I not just taking Battle Lust? Like,
Yeah, yeah, or Mirage. Like Mirage is another one that should probably be on a caster and not like the whole army have it.
yeah,
Um,
so like I think one thing that nobody will convince me otherwise is that Battle Lust was origin like so Tyrus has two spells. He's got Stranglehold and Flashing Blade, and he's got three rack slots. I think
mm,
one of those rack slots was originally Battle Lust,
oh, interesting.
and because like it just slots in so well with the rest of what he wants to do and all this. So I think, and it would take a lot of work. Like it would need to be like from the designer's mouth to convince me otherwise, essentially. But it's like I think in like initial playtesting, Battle Lust was a Tyrus spell.
Right. And I think some a spell like Carnage, like you were saying, Kyle, I think a spell like that would be fine on a rack if it was shoring up a weakness that an army had. Like they really were not very good at hitting. So you give them that if you need it. But the armies that have it already have decent hitting. They have decent mat. So it's just making it better than it was already. It's making it so they reliably hit everything, and that's definitely what the problem is.
Yeah, and I mean the Carnage thing could be a issue with the cost of the spell too, though, as
It's
well with
true.
it. Because
That is true.
but I mean, there's definitely spells that should be removed from the rack and given to, to specific casters to make you choose between them. I think that might be an issue with one of the issues with Orgoth is, you have Hurusk, obviously, and you pretty much always take the same spells. You take IR and Carnage. He's a 2, right?
I believe so.
But 9 times out of 10 when I'm playing a Hurusk player, that's what they're taking. IR and Carnage. They're not really casting Windstorm all that much anymore.
Interesting.
At least in my experience. Are you guys not seeing that?
I haven't played against Orgoth in a minute, actually.
Yeah, it's been since probably. Have I played against it? I've probably played against it online, but
I don't disbelieve you or anything.
right.
I mean,
but
I don't know what I'm talking about half the time anyway, so.
I don't.
but it's like I wouldn't want to see like the rack go away entirely.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Because I do like how like it is kind of a balancing factor, right? Like, we're in a situation where it's like the difference between like as far as the Mark IV armies go, like the difference between the top performing ones and the bottom performing ones like is not that extreme at the end of the day. And I do think part of that is the fact that you could sort of tailor your caster after list selection to what you're facing. Yeah, like you're like because feeling like getting screwed over by a bad matchup is bad. Like it's
Right.
like you want your choice of matchup to matter, but you don't want it to win the game for you. And the rack makes like the rack fixes that in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I do think the fact that like it's like most casters can take 2, a lot can take 3, very few only can take 1, and it's like though I think it's that fact and the fact that that a lot of the spells on it are so powerful and like to the point where you're wondering why you would take anything else because it is kind of like you know any list I make, it's kind of like, well, I could technically reasonably run any of my casters with this because they can all rack Battle Lust and Mirage.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing too is that it also would create like getting rid of the rack would create a have and have nots. I think in casters, where you would see in whatever meta you were playing, there were some standouts in your army that had the right spells that you needed, or good spells, and then some that didn't. And by having a rack that everyone can have those spells makes it so they're all playable. Whereas before, back in the Mark II days, you had Haley 2 playing, like people only playing Haley 2 because he had good abilities, and they weren't playing some of the other casters.
And like one of the issues with it is that like you can't really move the needle too much on that without like at least making like an edition 4.5.
Yep.
Because like it's like you could replace Battle Lust with something else on the Dusk Rack, but you would need to like completely redesign the army to accommodate that.
Yeah, you're changing core rules, creating, like you said, a 0.5, sort of like when we changed in, I think it was in end of Mark III. We changed from we were playing with theme forces, right? But it was there were allowances for every so many models that you took of this kind, you would get points towards free models.
Yeah.
And they sort of changed that mid Mark III or at the end of Mark III. They sort of changed that a bit, and it created a different game basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying with that.
Right. I don't want to change too much of this current edition
And like
without.
and like maybe we are like headed in that direction a little bit. There has been some just like general feelings, I think, of like people who bought into the like initial 4 releases that like in comparison to more recent stuff, they're just fairly simplistic and kind of lacking a bit in identity, in their own identity. You know,
Hmm.
Yeah.
like compare old Umbri to Winter Core, you know.
Yes.
Um,
List making can be very boring in Winter Core, and that's honestly a couple of things here and there. They do have their weaknesses, but I think they can compete. They're just not as fun to build with.
well, yeah, and like, like I don't think complexity is necessarily indicative of quality or anything like that. Or and like also, even if that were the case, there's a place for your himbo factions. Like
Hmm.
sometimes you just want to make the number big type of situation. Like
Right,
it's
right,
like so
and
it's
I
it's
think
not a bad thing, but it is
right,
kind of one of those things where it's like I know playing Dusk, it's kind of like, oh, there are times where like I see some of the things like you know Grave Diggers and Umbri and Shadowflame can do, and it's sort of like, yeah, it would be cool to have been a bit more designed in that paradigm than
right,
the kind of like, because like with the initial crop they were kind of trying to do like a catch-all, like they wanted to cast a wide net with those 4 initial armies, and it's like, well, there's probably something for anybody in one of these.
yeah,
So like I get it, I get how it happened, and I enjoy that like complexity is coming back into the game, but there are times where I would like to see it like just as a bit more faction identity for some of the earlier stuff. So, if those rumblings get loud enough, then, maybe we are headed towards like kind of not like a new edition with new rules or anything, but sort of a soft reboot type of thing,
yeah,
which would be the time to look at the spell racks and see what you can do with those.
right, right.
Well, we know it's not happening this upcoming year because they're releasing the book in November. Or no, December. I believe December. The cutoff for pre-order is November.
Well, I mean, I think you
Um,
could do something like that without changing the rules that are going to be appearing in the rule book. But
yeah,
like this would strictly be on like like a cards basis.
yeah,
Uh, but I don't think it's coming soon either. But I do think the idea of like a 4.5 isn't something that I hate necessarily. I think that could actually do us some good, like I don't know, year or two down the line.
yeah. I think they definitely got to get a few more years of growth and everything. Because I remember the changeover, but that was a few other reasons why. Uh,
That
well,
you
we
might
won't get
say that.
into. We won't get into. I don't think they would make that same mistake. They are very engaged with the community. So,
I mean, hell, we got SFG staff on Team England.
yep.
Like I think that's rad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were. I believe they played at the Welsh Masters and everything. They get out and they play. They interact with the community in person, not just online, which is great. They've been going to a lot more conventions as well. So the next one they have, obviously they're going to have some people at WTC as players. I don't know about actual representation, but we have Lock and Load coming up soon. That's going to be in November. So, and they're going to be doing a panel there. So it'll be really cool to see what they kind of have planned. I don't know if they're going to use it as like an Adepticon uh, big announcement, or if they're just going to have some tidbits here and there of some new stuff coming too.
guess it's not going to be on the same scale as Adepticon, but it would. There is potential for a lot of cool things there.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we went through all the questions that we had. Just a few. It was actually really interesting hearing other people's input, John's and yours, Eric's.
Thank you for the question.
Yes, thank you, and we'll do
everyone.
that again every once in a while.
Yeah,
so
it was fun to do.
But we can talk about some upcoming events. Obviously, we have WTC. Again, good luck to everyone. Safe travels. There, again, like I was saying, there's Lock and Load in November. And locally, we are doing a charity event, Foodmachine. If you're not familiar, you donate money or canned goods. Money usually is better because the food bank can turn every dollar into 3 meals. Is typically what it is. So it's just they get a lot more for a dollar donation than you giving non-perishable goods. Not that they won't take them, obviously. But we're going to be running that at Van Hassler Brewing again. We were there last year. The food was great. The space is great. It's a good time. It's nice to have a beer, some food, and play some games.
Yes, I'm excited.
So if you're in the area and that's something you're interested in.
Can I change my answer for best casual format?
Yeah.
I think we all agree.
So Foodmachine is your favorite.
I
Yes.
think so, because the whole premise that you pay money to charity to cheat at the game, like it's really good.
Yeah, and this is one of those times where we have to remember that being able to afford our war dollies does make us more fortunate than a lot of families. So being able to give back and help out, especially these days, is I feel very, very important to help out everyone.
I remember for last year, it was like I spent $350 on cheats to run this super weird Azeroth list by giving all of my warjacks +1 to all their stats, giving Azeroth Horus's feet and positive charge, and
it was effective.
It was effective until Cody dropped Moraine with Blood of Kings.
And that wasn't even the most egregious.
No. No, we had Infernals with Gorton feet.
Yep, I experienced that firsthand.
So,
Michael is the reason I removed the buy a feat.
Yeah, I just posted on the Albany Discord of like, how does it feel to have a rule removed because of from
John,
Foodmachine?
you were telling me once that I apparently got a rule changed after
yes.
Yes,
your bull changed the rule.
I pulled off a bit of jank when I used Dreadguard Archer's Deathly Domination shot on his cask imps and just walked them back into his own lines and set all his guys on fire. So apparently I inspired a rule change.
Yeah.
But yes, if you're in the area, come out. It's November 22nd at Van Hassler Brewing in Liverpool, New York. It's a good time. The venue loved having us there. They said there's still people who come in and talk about it. Like everyone, us being there playing games.
I'd like to say if you come in from out of state, you got a beer on me. I'll buy you a beer. Oh.
Yay. I will be there spending irresponsible amounts of money on things that are only kind of effective.
And I honestly can't wait for the food because the food there was really good.
It was really
That was
good.
good. Yeah, we actually went there on a date night a couple months ago, just to go eat and have a beer. It was great.
And that's all I really have for events. So just kind of throwing it out there. If you want to have an event featured, reach out to us. We'll give it a shout out when we're doing a cast. And yeah, and you guys have anything else you want to add to the end of this?
I just wanted to give a big thanks for everyone that has been on the podcast as we're doing our Army spotlights. I can't thank, well, me and Kyle can't thank you guys enough for contributing and for being flexible. And we have a few more left, but we're almost getting to the end of that, and it's been an amazing experience, and I think we all have learned a lot. I know probably the listeners have learned a lot from everyone that's given their expertise. Well, big thanks to everyone, and thanks for people for listening.
Yeah, it's been really great talking to a lot of these high level players and how their takes on the game, their factions, the do's and don'ts, all of that. It's been really great hearing that, and hearing how the top players are. It makes you realize that even the super competitive players are some of the nicest people you're going to meet playing this game.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me on, guys. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you, Eric, for coming on.
you.
We'll definitely have you again at some point. Maybe
Yes.
when you win Foodmachine.
Yeah. You got to give me good matchups then, man. I'll be monolisting some bullshit again.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see.
And
But again, thank you, everyone.
Because it's too expensive to get out a second list.
And again, you're our official. What did I call you? Correspondent.
The numbers correspondent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Thanks, Eric, for coming on.
Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. Like, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and again, like he said, thank you, Eric, and thank you everyone for listening. It's been another episode of Arcane Precision, and yeah, we'll see you soon.
Arcade Precision.
Yeah, we still do have to come up with like an outro.
Chain attack.
What be a pirate's favorite precision?
Arr.
Arcane.
Bye, everybody.
Oh dear. Are we going to end this with bad dad jokes from now on?
Not even a dad.
Hey, you have nephews.
Bad uncle.
I do have nephews.
Yes. Bad uncle jokes.
My 10-year-old nephew said I'm cringe, so I'm doing something right.
That's definitely a compliment.
As long as he's not going around saying 6, 7.
Oh my!
I haven't heard him say 6, 7.
Just
I
as
heard.
funny. It's nonstop at school, and I'm just like, oh god.
I have started some people, some group saying 6-7 by saying 6-7, and then the people in charge, the teachers or whatever, they'll look at me.
This
And
is
you
actually the
just go
second,
back to doing what you're doing.
This is actually the second night in a row that I've had this conversation because it came up at D&D yesterday.
I'm all about chaos.
I will say this for the youngs, Riz is a good sniper.
I called
Riz is
my
good.
daughter.